Hey, SMR Cricket Academy parents and cricketers. My name is Jody. I'm all the way from South Africa and I'm a mental performance coach specifically for cricketers. I had a wonderful conversation with Samara this morning around partnering with SMR Cricket Academy as your exclusive mental coach provider. And so, really, I've put together a little presentation to just show you what it is all about. And I'll tell you a little bit more about myself in the presentation, as well as give you a little bit more details about the online courses and the structures that I've built for creators around mental performance coaching. And so really, I'm excited to be sharing that with you. Once you've finished watching this, I'll also be sending Samara some more documents and more information on the programs and what it all entails. And really, it is about making mental performance coaching accessible, affordable, and available for everyone. And so between Samar and myself, we will figure out the best ways forward, and then he will be communicating that with you in due course. Cool. Have a great day, and I hope to see you all soon. Cheers. Bye. I'm so excited to be sharing with you as you watch this quick little presentation on the performance formula, making mental performance coaching accessible, affordable, and available for all cricketers. What we will be covering during this presentation is firstly, a little bit about me, why mental performance coaching, and what is the mental game actually, and lastly, how am I making mental performance coaching accessible, affordable, and available. So, a little bit about me. I'm Jody Martins. I'm a CSA Level 3 cricket coach, and for 25 years I coached privately. Spent my time working with cricketers from as young as 5 all the way up to first class level, teaching them the skills of the game. And I'm also a national coach developer for Cricket South Africa, where I help coaches understand how to coach more effectively. And for the past 12 years, in a part-time capacity, I've been working with cricketers on their mental game, and in particular with cricketers like Temba Bavuma, Devon Conway, and Yassine Valley, and there's a whole bunch more. Somebody that actually jumps to my mind that's not on here is somebody like Vian Libber, who plays at the Warriors in South Africa, and I was also involved in semi-professional environments with Gauteng Strikers and some other franchises around South Africa. But this isn't really about me. This is more about you and how I can support you to make you the best cricketer that you can be. Right, so why mental performance coaching? So just think for a moment and just go on this little journey with me here. Cricket is made up of a bunch of specialist skills that gets integrated into our performance. We tend to work on our technical game, our tactical game, and physical game in isolation. You go into the gym to lift the weights to get stronger. You go into the nets to work on your technical game, and at times you might bring some tactics in that. But why aren't we doing that with a mental game? We tend to think that the mental game just kind of happens naturally by itself. I mean, just think of your cover drive. When it goes wrong, what do? You take a step back, you train it in isolation, maybe you do some underarm throws, you spend a bit of time on a bowling machine, or you get a coach to throw in an area, maybe you even go stand in front of a mirror and you just shadow bat it. And then once you feel like you've figured it out, you'll go and integrate it back into a live net and ultimately the game. And when your cover drive doesn't go wrong, what do you do then? Well, you still train it, don't you? You still show up in the net, you're still hitting the cover drive. And so for me, the mental game and the conversations we have when we do mental game coaching is exactly like that. We take it into isolation, where we spend time on just that part of our game, and then we integrate it into our trainings more effectively because we actually know what it is that we're integrating from a mental game point of view. And when the mental game isn't wrong, then we still do it because it keeps you sharp and fresh from a mental point of view. And so in essence, there's two types of cricketers in the mental game space. They are the ones that come to me when things are wrong. They're busy spiraling downwards, performances are poor, they're not in the space they want to be, things are going according to plan, and so they show up and they say, hey, I need some mental coaching. And then they're the ones who understand that it is something that they develop just like their cover drive. And so whether it goes wrong or whether it goes well, they show up to work on their mental games. because the mental game isn't just something that is a problem. It is actually the thing that can enhance your performance as well. And so then really my question is rather, why not mental performance coaching? So, furthermore, how often do you hear this? This child, cricketer, or even me, if you're a cricketer watching this, is so talented, but they have a mental problem. Or I need more mental toughness. And so I want to point out three things to you. The first is that your mind drives performance. Performance is therefore an inside-out job, and therefore your belief and feelings are greater indicators of your performance than your training. And so that question of, so why not mental performance coaching, is directly related to this. That the mental game, intuitively we know that the mental game is the thing that makes the difference. At the highest level, everybody can bat, everybody can bowl. The thing that separates them out is their mind. And even when you're at lower levels, and maybe you are not destined to be the greatest cricketer, you can still be your best or make that difference in your game when your mental game is on point. And lastly, just why the mental game? Because there's this common problem that our potential doesn't match our performance. For so many cricketers, there's a disconnect between what happens in the nets and how they play on the field. And in the nets, we see this wonderful potential. We time the ball well, we're moving well, we're making our positions. We have these dreams and aspirations of the great cricketer we can be. And then when we go out on the field, it just does not show up. And that problem isn't a skill problem. Hitting more balls doesn't solve this problem, because you can hit the ball. You're showing it in the nets already, or you can bowl it. You're showing it in the nets already. So inevitably the problem or the area to focus on is the mental side of the game. So why not mental performance coaching? Right, so there's levels of the mental game. And I explain this because I want you to understand the work that I do and how what I do is separate from what cricket coaches do. So the first level of the mental game is tactical awareness. And this level is very important because it means you're able to think the game on the field. Okay, but it is affected by point number 2. In other words, the things that I'll be mentioning in point number 2 here has a direct correlation on your ability to do point number 1. Now, cricket coaches can coach you tactical awareness. 100% it's what they're taught to do. So that side of the mental game, that's their forte. That's where they thrive. They can help you think the game, understand the game, the tactics, the strategies, etc. Point number 2, mental skills. So this would be the things where you see where people and coaches talk about, can you manage your stress? Have you got some relaxation techniques? Do you do visualization? How's your decision making? How are you developing that? Can you be present? Do you do breathing, mindfulness, meditation, those sort of things? And yes, they're very valuable. They're phenomenal, and they will affect your ability. So if I'm more present or if I'm more relaxed, then chances are my tactical awareness levels will go up. Then the third level is the level of personal development. This drives the drivers of your performance. It lives deep inside you, away from your conscious awareness. And when we make shifts in this space, it lasts. So often we can do relaxation exercises, but if you don't stay consistent with them and on point with them over time, your ability to do that diminishes. So it's a skill, much like your cover drive, that you've got to constantly work on. Where if we go one level further and one level deeper, and we actually start talking about the beliefs and the frames and the intentions and the meanings and the things that sits in the back of your mind that you're not really aware of, but they drive who you are and how you show up and how you play. When we go into that space, that's the work I do. That's where I make the difference I make. Okay? So I just want you to have that awareness that that's what this is about. It is at a deeper level than just how we think the game, at a deeper level than just learning some skills. It goes to the heart of what do you think and believe about yourself, about other people, and how that impacts your ability to go out on the field and perform. So I then came up with this idea of the performance formula. So 12 years ago, like you should know at this point in time, I studied to be a mental performance coach. And over the past 10 sort of years where I did the work, cricketers tended to present the same mental development challenges over and over and over. And so I took those common themes and I developed them into an online course to help people make sense of that information and to be able to provide it to people in mass, so that it's not that you had to have a direct conversation with me one-on-one, that you can access the information and learn about it in your own time. But just the information is not enough. There must be a period of integrating that knowledge into who we are. And so a little bit more on this later. But I believe that in what I'm presenting here today, that you will see that. Hopefully by now you've got a sense that the mental game is really important. Now I will be starting to show you, how that actually works and how we can work on that. And so from this, the performance formula was born. All right, so this is in essence the performance formula. It's a little model, and I call this the 5 minds of performance. So there's the mission mind, the champion mind, the inner mind, the present mind, the process mind. The mission mind, it's the clarity of the path you are on, supported by an action plan. So if I have the vision in my mind and I've got the steps worked out, then I can walk on that path more easily. Champion mind, do you own your mind? Can you be confident, and can you take criticism? These are the 3 core elements that I believe any champion has, and so I help you develop that through the performance formula. Inner mind is about discovering how you create those results from the inside out, and how that actually works, and how we can develop the inner world that drives our outer world performances. Present mind. So when we're present, we reduce our stress. As we live more and more in the moment, and as we live more and more in the moment, performance can start happening and flowing. Because your tactical awareness will improve, and your ability to see the ball better or be more accurate with your bowling, all of those sort of things just goes up the more present you become. Lastly, process mind. Building the routines and processes for your performance. So essentially what we do when we get to the process mind part is that we integrate all the learnings from the first 4 minds, and that word integrate is the most important, into your game through the routines and processes that we establish for you. Okay, so here it is. This is what the performance formula looks like. You go to performanceformula.net and you can, through the store there, access the course. And so when you get inside the course, this is what it'll look like. You'll have on the left-hand side down the screen, you'll have a menu, and those are all the different topics. Those topics at this point in time are linked to the 5 minds. So the mission is obviously the mission mind section. Then responsibility, being, and growth, they all link to champion mind. Create and thinking is linked to inner mind. Present is linked to present mind, and then plan, review, and the couple of steps that follow below that, you'll see them on the next slide. They are more linked to. They all link to process mind. Okay. Part of the performance formula is that you get a workbook, and within this workbook, there's 13 different activities that are all linked to the actual course. So essentially, this is what it'll look like. So I've just opened up the perform. So you see there, the bottom 2 on the menu is ready and perform. I've opened up the perform. There will be a drop-down menu like that with links. And then at the same point in time, this is the exercises. So those 2 exercises, number 12 and 13, they're directly linked to this section, as is all the other activities above that is linked. And through the course, I explain to you how to do these activities along with the theory components. Cool. Right, so how do we make this accessible and available? Well, firstly, you get access to the online course, so it's accessible. Anybody with an internet connection can have it, and it's available online. So there's no need to travel, go outside your house, spend hours in traffic, do any of those sort of things. From the comfort of your home, you can access the online course. So it's the 5 minds of performance that you'll get access to. There's 7 hours worth of video on these various topics, as I've shown you. There's the 13 activities, and then all the future updates that I'm planning into the course, you'll have automatic access to them. So I'm specifically planning to start adding some audio experiences, and there's definitely one video that I want to add into one section that I'm very aware of. Right, then there's the twice a month Zoom calls, and so this is the most important thing for me of this whole thing, is that you don't just get access to the online course, you also get to sit with me twice a month in a in a group setting. Groups will go no bigger than 10 to discuss the ideas and concepts, and we can talk about things that's maybe not built into the course yet, and how as they show up for you and for the group. All right, and it's affordable. So if you go on my website, thatperformanceformula.net, you will notice that you can buy the complete performance formula course for $749, and then you'll have lifetime group coach access. Or just one-on-one coaching with me will be $549 for for an 8-session program. But I realize that, even those are premium offerings, that I want to make this accessible and I want to make it affordable. And so here's what I'm offering. Get access to the performance formula course, plus so it's those 7 hours of video, the 13 activities, okay? Plus you get one-time coaching-based meeting and one-time Q&A meeting per month. So there's those 2 coaching calls on Zoom. You get replays of all the meetings. So within the course itself, or within the Zoom call section, there's a place where I will load all the meetings. So if you miss a meeting, you'll be able to catch the replay of it. And at all times, you can email me or WhatsApp me your questions, and you'll have support throughout a month from me directly. And you get this all for the phenomenal price of $29, or it's about 430 South African Rand. And so, yeah, for teams, get in touch and we can talk about the process to get your team onto the system, and I'll happily discuss some discount for bulk that comes into the course and onto the program. And lastly, these are the methods that you can get in contact with me. So that's my cell phone number over there. I think the South African prefix would just be +27, and then my 2 websites, all my social media stuff, and you can check out my podcast. Cool. Thank you very much for joining me for this presentation. I hope to hear from you soon.